things of this world, or is it on the bright lights of this world, or is it on Christ who is the light of the world? Where is your focus tonight? Where is your focus in your life? Jesus said to these men who had seen so much and had experienced his miracles, had seen him turn water to wine and raise the dead and heal a multitude of people from all sorts of sicknesses. And yet he says to them, you must abide in me. They were going to be tempted to do the opposite of what he was saying. They were going to be tempted to drift away, to lose focus, to lose their understanding of their need for Christ. And as followers of Christ, if you're a follower of Christ tonight, and we're speaking to people who are followers of Christ, but also to people who aren't, to people who are anti-Christ.
Yeah. An asshole is not loving people that your religion says you're supposed to love. How about that?
How are we not loving people?
Do you love gay people?
Of course.
Or is it love thy sinner, love the sinner but hate the sin?
So do you love us?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Do you agree? Do you agree with everything we say and believe?
No, I do not.
Okay, so I don't agree with everything that other people say and believe either, but I still love them.
Do you love them?
Just like you, right?
Love gay people.
I just said yes.
You love gay people.
Yes, of course. We love everybody
Thank God.
because we're like everybody.
Thank God.
But it doesn't mean that we agree with
Oh, you don't approve? You don't approve of it? Oh my God.
who decides what's right and wrong, man. If we decide for ourselves, then why would you judge me for supposedly judging somebody else? Makes no sense, does it? See, it only goes one way. Tolerance only goes one way. If you hit the tolerance buzzsaw, it only goes one way. But we're talking about Christ tonight. We're talking about the necessity to trust in Him, to turn from all that is an alternative in our life to Christ, to His life, His death. Christ identifies Himself as the bread of life, as the light of the world, as the good shepherd, as the door of the sheep. Christ identifies Himself as the true vine. And Christ as the source of every blessing is the one that we need to be united to by faith. Christ is the one that God sends into the world to be our salvation, to be everything that we need, spiritually speaking, to be the source of spiritual life and health, and to be the deliverance. In John 15, he speaks of those who believe in him as branches that must continue to focus on their need for him. Without Christ, we have no basis or no ability to do what we need to do, he says. He says, without me you can do nothing. He says, if anyone does not abide in me, he is thrown away like a branch and withers, and the branches are gathered and thrown into the fire and burned. He said, if you abide in me, my words abide in you, ask whatever you wish and it will be done for you. So focusing on Christ, abiding in him, remaining in him, it's a very important thing. And that's why when we come out to here on a Friday night, which we do. We have been for many Friday nights, and we want to preach the good news of the glory of Christ, because he is the source of life. He is the source of spiritual health. He's the source of deliverance. He's the source of love. We talk about love. The gal here was talking about, well, why don't you love people? Well, what is the source of love? Jesus says in John 7, He who's been forgiven little, the same loves little. And if we were out here saying, yeah, we're really so much better than everyone else around, we really have very little need for forgiveness in our own lives, we would not be very loving people, would we? But that's not what we're saying. We're not saying that we have very little need for forgiveness. We have a great need for forgiveness in our own life. And Jesus said he who loves much has been forgiven much. Like the woman who washed Jesus' feet with her tears. But he says here in John 15, if you abide in me, my words abide in you, ask whatever you will and it'll be done unto you. If our focus is on Christ and on his will, we can pray and we can have our prayers answered. It's an amazing thing that God does in the lives of his people. But there is a necessary aspect that Jesus is talking about here. He says, if you abide in me and my words abide in you. This is what happens. This is why we gather together on the Lord's Day as Christians, in order to learn from God's word, in order to encourage one another, because we're trying to focus on Christ. We're trying to focus on the things above. We're trying to focus on him as the source of all that we need. And as we focus on him, we are transformed.